Hey guys, Alex here. We have a new video that you guys sent me on Patreon, and this is really interesting because the title says like this: in 2026, there are going to be 7 foreign nations that are moving to the Philippines. So I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I mean, the country itself are going to move to the Philippines. I want to move to the Philippines, yes, but I don't know what this is going to be about. Anyways, like the video, subscribe. A lot of videos about the Philippines and about the world over here on the channel. You can find a lot of interesting things. Maybe you knew or not. But yeah, let's go and check this out, and then we're gonna talk through the video.
2026 was supposed to be the year of the Great Reset. But while the West struggles with soaring costs and aging populations, a silent migration is happening in the East. For decades, the story was about Filipinos leaving, but now the tide has turned. High net worth investors, digital pioneers, and even entire families from the world's most powerful nations are packing their bags. They aren't coming for a vacation. They're coming to stay. Today, we dive into the 7 countries leading this mass exodus to the Philippines in 2026. And number 1, it's a country that was, until recently, considered the final destination for most migrant. South Korea. For years, the narrative was simple. South Koreans came to the Philippines for the golf, the beaches, and the affordable English lessons. They were visitors. But in 2026, the data tells a different story. They are no longer just passing through, they are building the very ground they stand on. In central Luzon, the Korean town of Angeles City has evolved. It's no longer just a cluster of restaurants and spas. It has become the nerve center for a multi-billion peso investment wave. In late 2025 and heading into 2026, Korean real estate giants like Koreat have poured over 5.1 billion pesos into education cities and luxury residential villas in New Clark City.
Let's don't forget, I mean, they should not forget as well that Philippines helped Korea a lot. Without the Filipinos, I know this because I have it on the channel, like I was saying, videos about history as well. So that's the most important thing. And I'm sorry that I have other videos with interviews from Korea, which a lot of young people didn't know about history or what Filipinos did for Korea. So, and that's a shame. A lot of people should know how the things went.
But why the shift? It's called the educational diaspora. In Seoul, the academic pressure is a pressure cooker. In 2026, middle-class Korean families are choosing a new path. They are moving to Clark and Cebu to enroll their children in satellite schools, institutions that offer a Western standard curriculum in a tropical environment at a fraction of the cost. In Cebu, the transformation is even more visual. The island has pivoted from a weekend getaway to an Asia-Pacific education hub. Entire condo towers in Mactan are now pre-sold exclusively to Korean investors who aren't looking for vacation rentals. They are looking for permanent homes. But the Koreans aren't just bringing students. They are bringing a blueprint for a smart city that could change how every Filipino lives. But as Clark turns into a mini-Seoul, one question remains. Are these cities being built for the Philippines, or are they simply islands within an island? Down to 6. Australia. Why are thousands of Australians, people from a nation with one of the most envied healthcare systems in the world, trading the outback for the archipelago? In 2026, the answer isn't just the sun. It's a calculated, life-saving financial move known as healthcare arbitrage. In Australia, the golden years have become a financial minefield. With medical inflation in the Asia-Pacific projected to hit 14% in 2026, the cost of private care in Melbourne or Brisbane has spiraled beyond the reach of the average retiree. But in the Philippines, that same Australian dollar is a superpower. It's not just about being cheap, For the Aussie medical nomads of 2026, the Philippines offers something Australia's public system currently struggles with: immediacy. While wait times for elective surgeries in Australia can span months or even years, hospitals like St. Luke's or Makati Medical Centre provide world-class US standard care with zero wait time. We are seeing the rise of retirement sanctuaries in places like Dumaguete and Iloilo. These aren't just beach towns anymore. They are becoming specialized medical hubs where 24/7 personalized nursing care costs less than a basic studio apartment back in Sydney. To the Australian retiree, the Philippines isn't a downgrade. It's an upgrade to a lifestyle where they can afford the surgeries, the medications, and the daily care that would have bankrupted them at home. But as the Aussie...
There is another thing that I have on the channel as well. It's how amazingly the nurses and the doctors are in the Philippines. I'm talking about study, about medical, schools that, and I have other videos where all over the world, the really care, you have it from Filipinos, from nurses, from doctors, which is really important in my opinion.
Wave builds, a darker question emerges. If the world's wealthiest retirees are buying up the best doctors and the fastest hospital beds, where does that leave the local Filipino?
Yeah.
This arbitrage is a goldmine for some, but for others, it's the beginning of a medical divide that 2026 is only starting to reveal. The United Kingdom. In 2026, the United Kingdom is grappling with what economists are calling the triple whammy. Interest rates, energy prices, and stagnant wages have created a zombie economy where many find themselves working just to afford the privilege of living in a cold, expensive apartment. Consider this. In London, $2,000 a month barely covers a studio flat and a monthly transit pass. But in Palawan, that same $2,000 transforms a digital worker into a member of the new nobility. We are seeing an exodus of British digital nomads, software engineers, designers, and consultants who have realized that their London salary goes 5 times further in the Philippines. The game changer in 2026: connectivity. With the full rollout of satellite internet like Starlink across the 7,000 islands, the digital divide has vanished. You can now manage a hedge fund from a remote cove in Coron or run a tech startup from a treehouse in San Vicente. The Philippine government has seized this moment, launching the 2026 Digital Nomad Visa, allowing Brits to bypass the bureaucratic nightmares of the EU and stay for up to 2 years. For the British expat, the Philippines isn't just a work-from-home destination. It's a sanctuary from the high-tax, high-cost grind of a cooling UK economy. But while the British are moving for lifestyle, as we move to number 4, the motivation changes. We are entering a phase of global migration that isn't about luxury or laptop lifestyles, or even taxes. For the nation at door 4, moving to the Philippines has become a matter of survival, a shift where the old world is literally running out of time, and they are looking to the islands not just for a place to live, but for a place to exist. Japan. In 2026, Japan is facing an existential crisis. It's called the Silver Tsunami. With over 36 million citizens aged 65 or older, the world's most disciplined economy is literally running out of hands to care for its elderly. In Tokyo, the cost of specialized elderly care has become astronomical, and the wait lists for high-quality assisted living are years long. But just 4 hours away, a new solution has emerged. In 2025 and 2026, Japanese wellness giants like Nambu Kombaliti committed over 4 billion pesos to build a network of 10 Japanese-style wellness colonies across the Philippine archipelago. These aren't just retirement homes. They are specialized wellness colonies in Batangas, Cavite, and Cebu. They are designed to replicate the Japanese omotenashi, wholehearted hospitality, but powered by the natural warmth of Filipino caregivers. For the Japanese retiree in 2026, moving to the Philippines isn't just about saving money, it's about survival and dignity. In Japan, they face a lonely kodokushi, solitary death. In the Philippines, they find a culture that naturally reveres the elderly.
Wow, I didn't know about Japan. I want to say another thing. Let's not forget that Philippines always, through the history, opened her arms for a lot of people. Let's remember the Russians, the White Russians. Let's remember the Jews as well. So Philippines, it's like a mother to the whole world. But I don't want it to be exploited. So I don't know what to think till now. Let me know your thoughts down below.
These colonies are also training centers. They are the first step in a massive 2026 bilateral initiative to train thousands of Filipino caregivers to Japanese standards, creating a human bridge between the two nations. For Japan, the Philippines has become the second home they desperately needed to sustain their aging population. But as significant as these four nations are, they are being dwarfed by three powerhouses that are no longer just looking for a place to retire or work remotely. The countries at number 3, number 2, and so on are fundamentally reshaping the Philippine economy. They aren't just moving here for the lifestyle, they are buying up the future. And the country at number 3? They have shifted from building the infrastructure to owning the industry. If you think you know who is dominating the Philippine market in 2026, you might want to look closer at who is really holding the keys. China. Despite the headlines of geopolitical tension and maritime disputes, 2026 has brought a record-breaking influx of Chinese capital into the Philippine archipelago. But this isn't the pogo wave of the past. These aren't gamblers or tourists. These are the architects of the Silicon Islands, Chinese tech entrepreneurs and state-backed giants who are quietly buying up the future of Philippine infrastructure. In 2026, the Philippines has become the ultimate neutral ground. Faced with heavy Western tariffs and supply chain restrictions, Chinese firms are utilizing a strategy called China Plus One Plus One. They are moving their entire manufacturing and R&D lines to Philippine economic zones. Places like the Philinvest Innovation Park and Lima Technology Center to label their products made in the Philippines and secure access to the world. Look at the energy sector. In 2026, the Taisan photovoltaic project in Batangas, a massive 60-megawatt facility, has officially gone online. Built and funded by Chinese engineering giants, it's just one piece of a $180 billion global clean tech push. From the solar farms of Pangasinan to the floating PV platforms in Laguna Lake, the Dragon is now powering the Philippine grid. It extends to the very way goods move across the 7,000 islands. In 2026, Chinese logistics leader SF Express has partnered with automakers like Geely to deploy an AI-driven smart delivery network. Using location intelligence and real-time geospatial layering, they have solved the archipelago problem, slashing delivery times by 30% and effectively owning the data on how the Philippine consumer spends their money. They aren't here for the beaches. They are here for the data, the energy, and the strategic proximity. While the world watches the South China Sea, the real capture is happening on the mainland. One server, one solar panel, and one smart warehouse at a time. But if China is buying the infrastructure, The country at number 2 is doing something far more personal. For a century, the dream for every Filipino family was to leave for this specific nation.
The US.
But in 2026, the American dream has inverted. Thousands of US citizens are fleeing their own borders to find a life they can no longer afford in the West. And what they are finding in the Philippines is a reality that most Filipinos never expected to see. Number 2, the United States. For nearly a century, the path was one way. Filipino families sacrificed everything to reach the shores of California, Texas, and New York. But in 2026, the compass has flipped. The American dream, the promise of a home, a stable life, and a dignified retirement, is being rebuilt 8,000 miles away from the U.S. mainland. In 2026, nearly 300,000 Americans now call the Philippines home. This isn't just about cheap beer and beaches. It's about the 84% gap in housing costs. In the US, the average mortgage for a downtown condo has become a life sentence. In the Philippines, that same monthly payment covers a luxury lifestyle in gated communities like Davao's high-end estates or the university town charm of Dumaguete. We are seeing a new demographic, the digital refugees. These are mid-career professionals who realize that a $100,000 salary in the States makes them struggling middle class, but in the Philippines, it makes them elite. With the 2026 expansion of the SRRV, Special Resident Retirees Visa, the Philippine government has effectively rolled out a red carpet for the American middle class, offering indefinite stay and tax exemptions that the U.S. tax code can't match. In cities like Davao, the influx is so great that it's driving a westernization of infrastructure. New international schools, high-end medical plazas, and member-only shopping hubs are popping up to cater to the American dollar. But this isn't the colonial era. These Americans are coming as guests, seeking the slower life and community warmth that they feel has disappeared from the modern American landscape. You might think the US taking the number 2 spot is the climax of this story, but you would be wrong. There is one country that has overtaken them all in 2026, a nation that just 5 years ago barely considered the Philippines as a viable destination. Their arrival isn't just a trend, it's an economic shockwave. Why is the industrial engine of Europe suddenly moving its people and its factories to the Philippine coast? To understand number 1, we have to look at a country that is running out of energy and found its spark in the tropics. Number 1, German. For decades, Germany was the industrial engine of the world. But in 2026, that engine is stalling, facing a triple crisis of astronomical energy costs, a shrinking workforce, and a 2-year recession. The German model is undergoing a radical, desperate transformation. While Berlin struggles to subsidize electricity at €50 per megawatt hour just to keep factories from closing, the Philippines has become an energy sanctuary. In 2026, a new diaspora of German engineers, chemical specialists, and manufacturing experts has emerged. They aren't just moving for the lifestyle, they are moving because, in Europe, the cost of doing business has become a death sentence. Under the 2026 German-Philippine Talent Corridor Agreement, the relationship has evolved. Germany isn't just taking Filipino nurses anymore. They are sending their best engineers to the islands to build the next generation of smart factories. From the Philinvest Innovation Park to the specialized German-Philippine industrial zones in northern Luzon, German expertise is merging with Philippine labor. They are attracted by the Philippines' bright spot status, a projected 6.1% GDP growth in 2026 that makes the stagnant Eurozone look like a relic of the past. These professionals, doctors, small business owners, and green tech pioneers are bringing more than just cash. They are bringing a new era of industrialization. They are building the renewable grids, the high-tech hospitals, and the precision tooling plants that will define the Philippine economy for the next 30 years.
Guys, I didn't expect to be Germany. I didn't expect Australia, honestly, Japan. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing, right? In a way, because they are building hospitals, infrastructure. But I don't want Philippines to be exploited. And I don't know why you can help him with this. It was like more in Luzon. I didn't hear anything about Manila or other places. So I'm curious why it's that. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Is this true? How do you see all this for the Philippines in the years to come, especially 2026? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like I said, I want the Philippines to grow for its people, for the Filipinos, for for inflation not to be anymore over there, for people to afford to live normally. This is what I want for the Philippines, and especially for the Filipino people, like I was saying. Anyways, I'm waiting your comments down below, guys. And of course, what do you think we should have next on the channel? Because you guys are the owners of the channel, and I thank you very much for watching. And your thoughts are really important. I read every single comment from you, and yeah, it was interesting. And we're gonna have more. We're gonna dive even more. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to be here and to share with the world the amazing Filipino people and the Philippines as a country. Thank you for watching. Like I always say, stay safe.